Would I come back? Are you kidding me? For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Have you started watching Cedar Cove yet? Some of you? The reason I'm bringing this up is a new series that I'm very proud to be doing for the Hallmark Channel, but Bruce Boxlight is on it. He's one of the regulars on it, so you'll have an opportunity to see him. He's a completely different character. Yeah, check that out too. You're welcome.
This is for the whole panel. I have been a science fiction fan forever. I write hard science fiction, and you all touch on so many classic science fiction themes in all the Stargates. And you do such a good job of it. I wonder if you comment a little bit on the writers and how they do that.
On the writers?
Yeah, your comments on the writers. What do you think of the writers on Stargate?
Well, first of all, I mean, they were fantastic. They are fantastic. And they are science fiction fans themselves. And you can tell that through their writing and how, and you can see their great love of different shows and different, and the love of the genre itself. And they never pandered, they realized that the smartest audience is our sci-fi fans, and they always took it with great respect, and that if their writing wasn't up to stuff, that you guys would let them know. They always took it very, very seriously.
Because you all are very unforgiving.
But loyal.
Yeah, truly. And I personally think that sci-fi fantasy is the best genre there is. And watch my new show.
No, I think this, that's great.
Next month.
Yes, I have a question for Christopher Judge. I'm wondering, the last episode of Stargate, what was it like where for most of the show it was just the five of you and having pretty much no one else to interact with and just the whole, how did it feel? Because there was nothing else that seemed like it. I mean, other episodes you have, other conflicts, you have other people to interact. In this it was just the five of you.
That whole week was bittersweet. I remember, I think it was our last day. We had two main studios that we shot at, Bridge and Norco. And our last day at Norco, Shanks came much earlier, and we went to a magistrate, and he wanted to show us something. He didn't know what he was doing. And we walked to the particular stage that we had shot our very first scene, which was one of the prison scenes from the pilot. And everything had been taken down and all been kind of deconstructed. And we walked in holding hands, and we said, this is where it all started. And we all just broke down and cried. And it was a week of that. It was a week of people coming and just absolutely breaking down. And when we shot, it was weird because we had Bo was kind of an enigma to us. He was like a legend. He would come in and do a scene here and there and a scene, and we all really enjoyed him and all that. It was kind of one of the only episodes where he was kind of in like every scene almost. And so to get to spend that week with Bo also, to get to see how funny he is and what just a lovely human being he is. It was a week of stuff like that, and I know you asked about what it was like for two, but it wasn't even that. It was just a week of us really reminiscing and talking about whole 10 years. And every scene was about that. The scenes where we're in the dining room, we're all laughing. It was Bo telling the dirtiest jokes. And you don't expect that from Bo Bridges. You know, you don't expect Bo Bridges to say there once was a girl from Nantucket. So it was absolutely, it was just a fabulous week. And it was, I mean, it was truly magical that week, you know. But
How was mine?
Hi, I've watched Stargate since it first aired on Showtime, and always loved everything, including Atlantis and SGU, and very sad that
you didn't love SGU. You didn't love SGU.
Well, my question was,
Tell the truth, no, tell the truth. You didn't love it!
But I did love that show. For Chris, obviously you're a loquacious guy. How did you pull it in?
I don't even know what that means, but it sounds dirty.
Very vivid, very talkative. How did you pull it all in for Teal'c? Like, because obviously Teal'c's very stoned.
You're quiet, you're loud.
Oh. How did I thought about my ex-wife. You tell the truth. You can't handle the truth. No, I thought about my ex-wife. You know, it was difficult at first because I didn't know the character very well. I didn't know him. And when I got out of character, I mean, I couldn't really because I didn't know if I'd be able to find him again. So in the beginning, like, I really did walk around kind of as Teal'c. And it wasn't that much fun, you know, especially out of the viewer and the beginning. Okay, I got to tell this.
When did you walk around like Teal'c?
In the beginning, during the pilot.
Okay, then I didn't see him in the pilot. But I was going to say, when I came in episode 3 on, honey, you were never Teal'c.
One of the, I used to like my boobs.
Used to?
You tell the truth. I mean, I still like it. I just don't partake in it as often as I used to. So a lot of the shape Teal'c was hangovers. Came about during the tow runs. So during the tow run, I didn't have a lot of lines in the tow run episode, and we had this lovely guest star, Sarah Douglas. Sarah has the greatest thing about being an actor is working with other actors and telling stories about her career, who they worked with, and all that stuff. Sarah Douglas, do you guys know Sarah Douglas? She has the greatest stories of her and Grace Jones in the 80s, 70s, and 80s so we're all just mesmerized. Wonderful woman. But to start the day off, she literally has a 4-page soliloquy. Sarah had looked at the script. Didn't know the first word. So literally she sits down, she's regal, beautiful, rich, looks wonderful. Action! Line. It's Sarah. She's joking. She's kidding. Didn't know one word. So it was, and I was so hungover. So we didn't have time to shoot a lot of coverage other than Sarah. So I was in like a 3-shot. I was over Amanda's shoulder. So if you watch the episode, I fall asleep during the time we didn't have any other coverage to cut to. So the next episode, and Peter Delaware had seen it. And so Peter's first episode that he was directing, I would fall asleep at the briefing room. And he would yell out, "Chris, are you sleeping?" And I said, "No, I'm meditating." He said, "Well, what?" And I said, "I'm an alien. Why would I care about this Earth business?" And they bought it. In scenes where I was meditating. So all that stuff, all the candles, all that stuff in the pillow scenes, right? You sit there. It all came from me being hungover.
Christopher, thinking of a knot too. I really enjoyed your bit part when you were in Snow Dogs and the dentist, and I've never seen whiter teeth.
You've never seen whiter teeth?
Yeah, right.
It's the contrast, sir.
This is the question for all the panel, but how old were you guys when you first got into this business? And can you elaborate a little bit on that, please?
What the?
I heard the teeth thing, and then I didn't.
How old were you when you first got into this business? And could you elaborate?
For me, I started out as a dancer, so I got into dance at the age of, I think I was 9. And believe it or not, it was because my grandmother who raised me, she wanted to pull me out of my shell. I was a shy child.
What?
Yeah. And all these years later, she has been doing everything she can to try to stuff me back in. But that's how it started for me. I started out dancing, and then I went into theater shortly thereafter, and so I was performing as a young person. And I think for film, well, I think it was 17 or something when I first sort of got in front of the camera and fell in love with it. I love the intimacy of the camera as opposed to the whole stage. I mean, I love anyway, I love performing. I love being part of the whole storytelling process, but I just love that whole intimacy of being in front of the camera. Yeah.
When I was in the 3rd grade, on days that would rain during recess, we would go into the auditorium, and I would get up on stage and sing Elvis Presley songs. and having any kind of reaction was pretty cool. So I thought it's kind of fun. But then I got obviously years later. I was working overseas for the Department of Defense for some years in the Middle East. And after I was in Iran, when the revolution started, and I thought, you know what, I want to do something else. I want to go back and try to do this acting thing. So I started doing theater. I was about 27, 28 years old. I started doing theater down in Austin. And that was the first time I got on stage and got that audience response, especially during comedy. It was like a drug. And I was like, this is what I want to do. Look at me. Please. Give me a lot of money for that. I was an athlete when I was younger, but I was only an athlete as a means to an end. I knew from the time that I watched Sound when I was 5 or 6 years old, and I knew from that moment that I wanted to be an actor. And I was fortunate because right out of college, it was the early days of Fox. So Fox had 4 regional contests to host your own show. It was also the early days of MTV. So it was your own kind of talk show, MTV format type show. And I won the Northwest in 87. So right out of college, there, but my first day on a real movie set, was Burn on the Wire. My first scene ever was with Mel Gibson and Billy Hahn. And lovely people, but I was very, very nervous. And so the first thing I would do is drive down this alley in a car. The stunt coordinator says, no matter what, don't stop. There are all stunt people. Okay, so I'm barreling down this alley, people are this lady braces. And so I'm thinking, like, is there a gag? Is there something? Is there... So at the last minute, I slammed the brakes, and I literally missed this woman by inches. Turns out, she's an extra. That's my first thing. So during the course of this day, I have a fight with Mel. And Mel kicks me to the table, supposed to be rigged, and the table splinters, blah, 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 blah. And I asked the stuff coordinator, like, so, this is all like, he's like, no, they're all stuff, they're all stuff. Okay. So Mel kicks me to this table, the table shatters. One of the fragments on the table goes and gets an extra jugular. So there's blood squirting 6 feet in the air. And as I found out, they're not some people, they're just extras. So I kind of rethought my career after that day. But yeah, that was my first day off a real movie set. Yeah. I went to the University of Oregon, that's ideal. They'll be like number one in the country very soon. And on time.
Question for Teal'c. How do you like the differences between voice acting and live action? Which one do I prefer? Are you asking? What about the differences? What is the difference between the two? I'm sorry.
She's asking how do you feel about the differences between
Oh, how do I feel about it? I love both. I mean, the nice thing about voice acting is that you can show up in your pajamas, right? And not worry about your hair, and there's a lot of longevity in it.
It's exactly the same for me, and most especially when I used to, because you can show up hungover and you get alone.
Yeah, I've done some, and it really is so much fun. You just stand in front of the mic and just play. And it's so much fun. And you especially doing voice work, there's a lot of great actors who are doing voice work, and it's really a treat to meet some of these people that are around wherever. To have the opportunity to stand across from them and play like that. And you don't have to really, you can go to your jazz. This is so simple.
It's you guys, like, I've never actually done presentation before.
Oh my God, this is the best.
I try to do one, but it's intimidating. I mean, they can do so many things with their voices that, like, I've got one thing, this is indeed, that's it. This is my stick, and you want to go to deep with but all these voice actors can do so many things with their voices and have so many different voices.
They'll take full of his accent, and the actors will just come out, and they are amazingly talented.
Yeah. And I try to make it like it's because I'm a prima donna and I can't be here in the actual session, so I have to do my own. it's because I'm terribly intimidated by it.
Do you know what he's talking about, anybody? That in the most sessions, it's called prelay work, right? The animation comes after, and we all work in a circle. But a lot of...
Did you say prelay? Just to clarify.
I did say prelay. And I was overcome with emotion. Next question. No, I did answer. But it's, oh yeah, sorry. You're usually in a circle, and then a lot of times you just go in by yourself and do the voice work, which is, I mean, it's okay, but it's not the same. That energy of doing it together is.
Yeah, feeding off each other is really, I'm just like an actor.
Yeah.
On camera acting, it's really feed off each other. Oh, that's what acting. See, I took my acting lessons from Rick. I don't really listen, I don't interact. I just wait for silence to talk.
Next question.
In some of these shows, there is a cultural disconnect that isn't really expanded upon, and they don't really work it into the show. But in Stargate, some of my favorite scenes, some of my favorite lines involve Teal'c's lack of understanding of the culture in which he operates. I was just wondering if you could expand upon that and include maybe some of the favorite Teal'cisms, the phrases that he gets to pull off because of his alienation from the culture.
One of the great things was that we played with that a lot, was that, and that was one of the great things as an actor, was basically my take on Teal'c was he was like a baby. He